Well, everybody know what time it is. It's time for another live stream. And we have our table here full of big cats. Working on a king tiger that I picked up at the swap meet here for $5. And yeah, like I needed another king tiger. This one's actually nice, unlike those two that are a piece of shit. The Pegasus ones. They look fine now, but man, putting them together was just really unsavory. But there's a problem apparently with king tigers and the tracks that go on the side of the turrets. They're notorious for having these tracks here on the corners, so to speak. And it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little pieces of extra spare track. And these don't come with any of them, or the hooks protruding. So I had to build those out of green stuff. And then this only came with half of it. It only came with 4. So you can either put on one, they're only shown on one side of the tank. I'm like, that's like stupid, So I gotta make them out of green stuff. What's up, Marcus? You'll be in and out tonight. Your daughter is getting home soon. I'll need to make some dinner. Late dinner. I'm gonna have the wife that's probably gonna get here within the next half hour, so I'll have to interact with her for a little bit, and then I'll be back. But anyhow, found out something really interesting on the way home. So I'm reading this. I'm doing the book on Audible that's called, I'll tell you what it is right now. It's about MacArthur's return to the Philippines. And it's called, let's see where it is on Audible. Return to Victory. Return to Victory by James P. Duffy, MacArthur's Epic Liberation of the Philippines. And there's stuff in here I've never heard of before. Between the Rangers that landed on some of those islands. Then I find out that there's an island called Marcus Island that is sitting in the middle of nowhere. And that's where I left off right now in the narrative. And there's, the Japanese have it occupied. And they've got like 800 or 900 sailors and just shy of like 1,000 troops. So the sailors are commanded by some vice admiral or whatever, and the troops are commanded by some lieutenant general, colonel, something like that. And on this island, they've got almost 2,000 troops there between the sailors and the army. This island is triangular. It's a 1 square mile island. Triangular shaped. I've heard of Marcus Island. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere, Triangular shaped 1 square mile island. There's just shy of 2,000 troops. They have 3 75mm guns, which I imagine would be like infantry guns or something like that, and 9 Hagos, 9 Type 95 light tanks. I'm like, the hell are 9 Hagos doing on a 1 square mile freaking rock in the middle of the Pacific? So they wanted to kind of fool the Japanese that were going to do a landing there. So they sent 5 or 6 destroyers and 3 heavy cruisers to go and bombard it. And they ended up like shelling it with like, I was doing the math. It was like more than 1 5-inch or 8-inch shell per person on there. It's like, what? Marcus Island. Should be easy to remember. Let's see what this thing looks like on the satellite. It is triangular shaped. It's fascinating learning new stuff, learning new old stuff. Marcus Island. Well, it's fucking triangular shaped, all right. Let's look at the satellite on here. Gee, no kidding. Man, you can see from one, it's basically an airfield. That's a pretty small island. Minami Torishima is what it's the other name for it. Middle of freaking nowhere. Anyhow, I thought about this, because Marcus. I did see the shot of figures, but I did not have a good day at work today. Let's put it that way. When you sent me that picture, I was not having a good time. How's the material? Is it bendy? Is it pewtery? Let's pull these things out and see how it worked out. That one looks okay. So do those two. And so does that one. So we're just going to set these off to the side. We'll mix some more of this and do it. And that way, we'll just use green stuff tracks on here. And that way we've got the originals to... I mean, I don't want to cover it with tracks. I just want to put the ones that are supposed to be on the turret there. It looks better with the tracks on the turret. So... I didn't want to fool with the stinky stuff, so I used Army Painter. Army Painter one is... You don't get as much, but it's not as stinky. It does smell weird. The metal is fairly firm, just bending up to reposition, but sturdy for wargaming. Okay, so it's one of the new alloys. Yeah, I think I might actually paint my Rangers. But I if they used Rangers in the Pacific, and if they wore something different, well, tough titty. They're gonna look like these guys do in Normandy. I don't need Rangers in Normandy. We're not doing Point du Hoc. If I could just remember how much of this I cut off last time. Let's see, it was like this. Could be wrong. This is actually one of the things I got this for, was specifically for this. Was molding this. Yeah, this one has no smell. Now, there's going to be the section in the middle where they have met before, and there's like a little square briquette that never blends, and here it is. Here's between the two. So we'll just toss that. And let's get some water. I must say, Dave Alsop really has a thing for fixed bayonets. Did you have any of his figures before? And do you understand why I like his... He has a specific style. He has a specific style. And I really, really like it. I really liked his style. What did you get, by the way? You got Marines. What else did you order? Tell me you got some Japanese. It's some motherfucking funny Japanese. It's some funny Japanese guys. Those figures. I don't have the Marines. It's one of the ones it's the only World War II ones I don't have. But I've looked at them. Their poses there's nothing wrong with them. I didn't get them because I didn't want to do island stuff. But I went to a store called Emperor's Outpost in Tampa back in the early 90s, and I saw those, and I fell in love with them. I absolutely fell in love with those sculpts. I'm like, this is the scale that I want to do. It was literally those figures that, and there's none I like better. There's other ones that are pretty cool. I mean, there's some Battlefield guys I got that are really, really neat. And they're a lot easier to paint because they got lot less stuff. But man, Dave Alsop's like, no two guys look the same. What's up, Maroon? Marines, Japanese, Russian, not the cavalry. Almost all the Germans and most of the British. Okay. You'll be clean the rest, but a lot will keep me busy. What do you think of the Japanese? If you looked at them a lot? Oh, there's some funny, propaganda poster looking dudes. Like, I gotta replace some of my Japanese. They're broken. But there's no figures I like better than those. People say, "Oh, AB, AB." That the AB figures are nice, right? But they all look like they're the same guy, and it's not bad. He's kind of a, it's not like the Britannia sculptor that the guy would look like really odd looking with a big head. You know, big head like Simon Cowell, but little feet. Simon Cowell have little feet. I don't know. There's just a very unique look to everybody, and if you've got a whole army of unique looking people, and they all have the same look, it's like, what'd you do? Clone them? You're gonna make a cool flag out of aluminum foil. Yeah. I think I'm gonna get some Simon Soldiers guys too here before too long. I just haven't decided which direction I'm gonna go into with them. I know I'm gonna get the model 1943 American uniform guys because I could use them for Europe. I could use them for the Pacific. What else does he have? Oh, his Japanese look really good. His Japanese look really good. I still like Alsop's better. Sorry. Got some of those district miniature decals suggested. Look forward to using them. Yes! If they suck, I'm sorry. You got the wrong one. I haven't gotten them yet. The thing that they do right is you go and I want to get, decals that are of a certain kind. They give you lots of options. They're like a good value. They're like $5 a piece or something like that. I probably should get one for this freaking King Tiger. I wanted to have blue letters, but maybe I'm not going to do it that way. I don't have a single one of these not a single one of them has Zimmer in it. I'm not going to put it on it. I personally don't like Zimmer. I think it doesn't look bad. It looks really bad on a Mark IV. I think it looks like shit on a Mark IV. On all the other vehicles, it's like, I got an elephant made by these same people. It's actually, I can make an elephant or a Ferdinand, and I think I'm gonna make it a Ferdinand because if you do an elephant, half of them got knocked out at Kursk. The other half went to Italy. When they went to Italy, they got Zimmer applied to it. I'm not putting Zimmer on one of these things. It was slow. Do you not have them in stock? There was a big drama. There was some kind of big drama with those molds with Dave Al because they originally was before I got them. They ended up being something else, Hotspur or something like that. Hotspur miniatures. I didn't find out about it until it was Combat Miniatures, and then the molds end up going. Somebody had them. When I got when I got the stuff that my remainders, I got them from a place called Fat Cat, and they were in Nashville, and they were recasts, and the metal was just kind of is bendy in a lot of places. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just the metal they were using had a more lead content that I would have liked. But I got everything except like the Marines and the cavalry. I think I didn't get the cavalry because my buddy had the Russian cavalry. When we bought those, he didn't really like combat miniatures very much, but he's more of a fan of FAA. But hey, everybody's allowed to make bad choices. And very few kits I have at actually added cost if they do. Small scale Zimmer is not the easiest to apply, especially 20 mil. I have a method, but I'm glad I still hardly have to use it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not, you're better off like just buying a kit that has Zimmer in. But there's some vehicles that should never not have Zimmerit on them because they were in production when Zimmerit was put at the factory, and they stopped while the Zimmerit was still being done. Panther A's, for instance. Panther A's didn't come out until probably really late 43, early 44. And they ran them all the way into like June of 44 or something like that. June, August. Something like that. No, there was G's at Normandy. But basically what happens is then, if you've got a Panther A, it's got to have Zimmerit on it. Or it's just one of those that got away. It's just kind of hard to do a factory vehicle that was already coming out of the factory with Zimmerit on it and not have Zimmerit on that one. If it's something that was retrofitted, like, oh, okay, they forgot this one, they didn't find this one kind of thing, I was on one of the modeling groups, and this guy said, "Hey, what do you think of my first tank I painted?" And he did a Hetzer with Zimmerit on it. And I started thinking, like, I don't think Hetzer's ever had the Zimmerit. And yeah, I don't think that they did. Hold on one second. I'll be right back in a few minutes. Late D, along with A and G variants, also action at Normandy. I believe some early G at Normandy had Zimmerit. Yeah, because they produced G's all the way through the end of the war, and whenever they started. So you can do a G that doesn't have Zimmerit, because they stopped doing Zimmerit around right after Market Garden, something like that. And, so they say. I'm sure there's exceptions to everything. So you could do a G with no Zimmerit. You could do a King Tiger with no Zimmerit. You could do a Jag Panther with no Zimmerit. You could do a Jag Panzer IV with no Zimmerit. Because those were in production all the way through. But like a Panther A were always made during everything was coming out of the factory with Zimmerit, and things were already coming out of the factory with Zimmerit by the time they stopped and they switched over to the G's. So, I don't know. I've got a Panther A with no Zimmerit. You know what? I'm okay. I'm not going to freaking do it. I didn't decide to build it that way. You get... I was on some webpage, right? I was on some webpage. I want to say it's either 172nd on the way or Scalemates. I bet it was 172nd on the way or Hanks of Holland. It was one of those two. I'm pretty sure it was 172nd on the way. And it was some article, and I forget which vehicle it was. But this guy's, and these nerd burglars go, and I actually appreciate some of this stuff, but there's a point of diminishing returns. There's a point where it's like, I'm not going to, come in and model things that aren't necessary. Because it's like way over the top, right? And it's like, you're being punished for something that somebody else didn't do. And if it's good enough for me, like, I hate these kits. I think they look pretty damn good. Other than they don't have the tools here, If I wouldn't have told you these were a piece of shit and they sucked, you probably wouldn't know. Certainly not from across the table. You know? And I actually like, this is still a holdover from my 15 millimeter stuff. I actually enjoy painting things that are crappy and making them look golden. I think that that's just easier than just buying something that's already looks wonderful. We're going to cut this in half. And we're going to cut it in half again. So I'm looking at this article, whatever it was. Let's say it was a Sherman article. And this guy went on and on about how he lined up all these models. He lined up all the Shermans. They were the same model Sherman. And how one of them he measured them. One was too long. One was it. And I appreciate all that. But when he came to finishing it, it looked like shit. I mean, it's like he should have. I mean, as long as he was happy with it, I'm just saying that if he had put the kind of effort that he did towards finishing the model and he did as far as building it, like I'm more interested in it looking good. Okay, that's the most important thing for me. If the turret is slightly out of, I mean, look, I got Shermans that are 176 and are die cast, and I've got armor fast ones. I've got die cast miniatures that are 1/72 scale. I mix and match. I use what I have, and I'd rather be anal retentive about how it's painted, But to each their own. But it was just funny how anal retentive his article was. And then when it came to actually putting it together, it looked like somebody in high school had done it, And I mean, the old people that were in high school. Not there's wizards out there, But hey, he probably enjoyed that kind of stuff. I had a guy a long time ago that he used to come in the hobby store, and I actually liked this guy. This is going to sound like he was kind of a dick, but he wasn't. I enjoy but he would come in and he would look like, okay, this. I would ask him. He was like a just full of information. This was before the internet, and he's like, I want to build a Mark IV F2 for like Russia in 1942. What can I do? Well, you can buy this one, but this one has the wrong road wheels, and you got to get these, and the idler wheel is different on this one, so you got to get the idler wheel. And it wasn't like if you do it, you're a fucking fool. If you build it the way it is, you're a fool. It was just it was interesting, kind of seeing, and he just like had all this information, and then he didn't build very many kits. He was almost like analysis paralysis a little too much. But whatever you want to make out of it, Very few kits have it. Usually added cost if they do. Big deal. Does my whatchamacallit have it? Does my Yag Tiger have it? I believe it does. This is a beautiful model. This is... Of my German models, it's one of the best model. Just forget how it's painted. Well, it turned out great. I really like how this one turned out. Okay? But as far as models goes, this is a beautiful model. However, it's a trumpeter. However, these motherfuckers don't give you a single hatch you can open. They're all sealed shut. Like, why wouldn't they give me, like, the commander's hatch that for the option of opening it? I mean, I don't care if the driver's hatches are open. If you put a guy in there, he's just in the freaking way, right? Especially the driver, like, you're not going anywhere. He's, like, sitting up. I'm like, hey, move the tank. Oh shit, I'll have to move it with my feet. But the commander could be up, or, nothing. The whole thing is damn closed. That's the only gripe about these things. This is a beautiful freaking Chinese model. So the Chinese can make good stuff if they want to. Goes together just beautifully. And it's got nice Zimmerit. Actually came out okay in the... sometimes it's like too close to scale. And then you actually you can't see it. But it actually was able to weather it okay. And it's the first one that I really was happy with how the airbrush turned out on it. And I'm actually a little better than that with the airbrush. It's pretty... There's so much stuff on it that the pin wash just works really well with it. Now we gotta do the auto. These lights are great, but man, they make everything look way too kickbacky. It's probably the one I like the best of all the things that I've done. It's just so unusual. Not the vehicle, just how it looks. And but even with as awesome as it is, no hatches you could open. I don't know what it is about trumpeter. I got another trumpeter kit with this, which is the SU. Is it the 152? No hatches were able to be open on that. The Animal Killer, Zvedboy. Zvedboy, no open hatches on Zvedboy. Beautiful model kit. But all solid. Every single hatch is completely closed. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I'm going to have to go back and retouch these vehicles. And what I mean by that is, I really haven't changed the way that I do everything from the get-go on the vehicles in the last 2 years, except pin washing. I've been doing that for about 8 months, and it looks so much better. And, it's easy to do. I mean, the vehicle's sealed. You just come in and you pin wash it and you just move on, Or you don't. It's probably not that noticeable for most people. It is for me because, hell, I got my contacts off and I see all. Nothing gets by me. All right, so we're going to let this sit in here. This will get installed after we paint the thing anyway, so it's not like that's holding me up or anything. All right, where do we leave off on this SU model? We put the tracks. I put staples on it, and that'll hold for now. I don't have a hot. I don't know where the hell a match is to go ahead and close this thing up. But one thing that's interesting is I don't really have a problem with rubber band track. It is what it is. But they give you these little pegs here that allows you to put that rubber band track in there, and they hold it down to give it a little bit more of a natural, so the line doesn't go all the way across. But I just kind of hastily put this on here at lunchtime. I didn't know where the hell my stapler is at home, so I brought my stapler from work at lunchtime and then took it back. So I don't really have a use for stapler other than get this thing going. Oh, well, let's not trash what we made here. Let's not be my own dick. And I really like this green stuff because it turns into almost rubber-like. You can glue it around like a round turret and stuff like that. I did that with the Firefly. I have a Firefly. I put a bunch of tracks all the way around the turret. And it worked pretty well. All right, so the turret is completely done. I don't know, but I might actually paint this figure. He's not a great figure, but he's wearing a fucking tie. Nazi in a tie. Okay, it's time to do the business end here of the King Tiger. So, the 88L71. Let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to drill a machine gun hole for it if it doesn't have one. It doesn't look like it does. The Pegasus ones didn't have one either. I drilled that as well. You got to have a hole here in the mantlet for you can shoot the machine gun. right, and where is Le Canon? So anyways, I was looking at the Simon soldiers, and yeah, the Japanese look pretty cool. They have. I should consider getting 1940 French. The problem with 1940 French is the figures look cool, but man, there are some drab colored uniforms, and also it's a lot of riflemen. It's a lot of bolt action riflemen in their squad. A lot. Like the squad leader generally carries a rifle as well. This is, you don't have to put the two halves together. Thank you, Jesus. So we're going to, I lower this much so I could save my back a little bit. All right. I'm going to switch this, see if this is what it is. Because this thing likes to, no, we'll leave it alone. I got a bad feeling about this Sarge. It's just always twist. Yeah, there's no MG here. And there's one there that I drilled that in myself. I figured it was something looked kind of prominent. Winchester, Virginia. Is that where Winchester used to be? The Winchesters now, I don't know where they are. Speaking of 251s, I finished a pair I was working on recently. Came out pretty good. Which models did you have? Which 251s were they? I was stymied by a couple of them, and I never finished them. I mean, not recently, but 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I was stymied by them, and I just don't like, they're a cool looking vehicle. I just don't like putting numbers on them because it's really hard to find information on 251s and what number schemes that they had. And feel good about the choices you decided to make on those. Well, I did order some rubber tip tweezers, just so you guys know. Because I lost that machine and it was broken. I'll just make it out of sprue. I looked for it this morning. I couldn't find it. I don't know if the rubber tip ones will make any will do any better, but. And for those of you guys that are my weekend watchers, I will not be on this weekend. I've got to go to where my daughter's at college. They've got a parents' weekend or some nonsense like that. Which that's really not why I'm going, but a tip I heard: if you want to scratch, you use the backside of the X-Acto knife. You're not cutting into anything. Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about at the model meeting. I'm like, I said, I discover stuff all the time and I bring it up on my channel. And my biggest discovery is the whole hand sanitizer. He didn't know about it, using hand sanitizer to clean brushes. He's like, maybe you could write an article. I was like, you don't understand. I'm not a writer. I don't like to write. If I like to write, I'd have a more advanced degree. I'm like, I don't want to write shit. Okay, I don't mind making programs. I really like doing live stuff because I don't have to plan anything. Because planning to me seems like it's work. Writing something, you write an article and you don't know who the hell read it. You could be just pissing up a rope and you don't know. And, when I do stuff and I don't know if it benefits anybody or anybody says anything about it, I don't know if it's, just being wasted. So, and I really hate writing. Doesn't mean I suck at it. I just hate doing it. I did too much of it in school. You do stuff as a kid and you're like, when I grow up, I never want to freaking do this again. I don't mind writing emails. Emails serve a purpose. Well, emails, like work related stuff to try to solve shit. You know, put it in writing. You'll be headed up this weekend to Havre de Grace, Maryland for a seafood festival and barrage wargaming convention. Good for you. I'll be from Fujimi. I've got it. I just don't know which one it is. Well, I know it's not the SU one. I got the Matchbox one too. The Fujimi's a B? I thought it was a C. I guess you're right. Yeah, the B has the two-part nose. It looks better. I think the B's the best looking one. But, more parts to break. Germans have enough problems with the stuff that they have. Barrage, that's a good name for a gaming convention. Yeah, I got to do stuff for myself. And those people that are interested, not, go and run a bunch of stuff at a convention and nobody shows up to play it, or, there's this big hubbub that there was so many people that were interested in Art de la Guerre at our local convention. Oh, we're going to put on all these games. They ran it for one, and then, they're not doing it anymore. And it's an excuse, like, they're from another town doing it. I'm like, well, what about the local stuff? You get tired of doing all the heavy lifting, and all people got to do is show up, and then they don't show up. Well, I'm like, okay, well then I'm basically compromising all the stuff that I'm doing. I'm not doing what I want to do for the sake of other people, and then the other people aren't showing up. I'm like, fuck it, I'm done with that. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm not building stuff for a certain time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to clear. Like, I got this King Tiger thing. I'm like, I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna show it up at the next show, at the next monthly meet. Yeah, here's this thing I just bought from you. Who knows how long the guy's had it? Probably 20 years, 30 years. Got it finished. I'm in no hurry to use this thing in a game. Okay, I think that's pretty close. But I'm not saying don't volunteer to do stuff, but if you volunteer to do stuff and people are asking you to do more and more, and people aren't showing up for the stuff that you already do, why? What's up, Francois? Both the Matchbox and Fujimi one are also B. C has a flatter nose and the bumps on the side of the front. The town was burnt by the British in 1812 war. You're a good writer, you just think it's boring. It is, because you don't know who's listening to it. And I'm developing a really bad habit over the last couple of years. I've always been pretty intolerant of people that poo-poo other people's work. If you don't like something and it's their hobby, that looks like crap. Just keep it to yourself, man. That could be something that keeps someone from turning into an active shooter. Okay? That could be like their way. I exaggerate a little bit, but, like, let people have their thing. They don't have to be friggin' perfect. Let them do their thing. So, you come over to my channel and you want to put something like, hey, you should have done this better. You should have done that better. I said, why don't you make some fucking videos then? I don't go to other people's channels and go, hey, your video sucks. Or you should have done this instead of the other. I'm like, people, if you're getting something for free, don't feed the hand don't bite the hand that feeds you when you're not paying anything for the food. Just walk away, We might have to do some putty on here, we may not. We're going to let that simmer. This, however, has no machine gun holes. That's why I don't care doing stuff and screwing up, because, I'm never going to get it perfect. Doesn't matter. That the Battle of the British troop got hit by lightning. Ooh! There's a sign. If somebody is doing something for, their generosity or just because I feel like doing it, I'll give them a rash of shit. There's one guy I subscribe to, and something happened to him. I don't know what happened to him, but he basically, you can't comment on any of his videos anymore. And it's not like they're moderated. It's just, you can't comment on them at all. It might have been somebody who went after him, and maybe he got nasty with him too. He's like, I don't need this in my life. I don't need this kind of drama. Or the guy's retired, so it's like, you don't want to be retired and then have an aneurysm because somebody works you up. Looks like crap, but also give you ways to get better. I'm not an asshole because you're too weak-minded to take constructive criticism. Well, it depends if you ask for it. I don't ask for constructive criticism. If somebody says, hey, roast me, that's different. I don't ever tell people to roast me, because I'll roast your ass back, motherfucker. This is what keeps me from turning into an active shooter, pal. Okay, so the front of this tank is wonky. It has the gun shield, and it's more on one side than the other. So let's see if it's represented correctly in this model. Probably not. This is an oldish model. I'm going to get a pen here. So the MG34 goes through the mantlet. Goes through the shield here. And it's not depicted on it at all, and I think it's kind of an important thing to put on there. It's important for me. So I'm going to mark it like that. Make sure that looks okay. Now, you wouldn't believe how many people are like, I can't believe you're putting your vehicles on stands. Yeah, so? Oh, that looks stupid. Well, don't fucking do it on yours. That would be dumb for you to think something looks stupid and then you do it on yours. I don't go around saying, hey, why are you doing things in 28 millimeter? That's a stupid fucking scale. You trying to overcompensate for something? I don't say that. Do I think it? Maybe. No, I just never played Warhammer, so I don't have a love for that scale. Although I'm still trying to find out who the hell came up with bigger than 20 millimeters playing with dollies. That's brilliant. Probably some dickhead on miniatures page, of which there are many. You know, just try to get, if it's important to you to get better, just get better the next time you do it, you know? Like I used to go to the range with Mitch. Half the people there at the range were just fucking assholes all the time. You know, they wanted to be like that freaking Finnish sharpshooter. And if they didn't do that well, they were angry and like kicking the dirt and stuff. I'm like, who fucking cares, man? You're 10 times better than I'm ever going to be. I just want to do better than the last time I did and be safe and have fun while doing it. Not be around people that are angry all the time. I get paid to be around angry people. I want to do that for free. I don't even want to do it while I'm being paid, but, you know, such is life. Where is my trough? It's not in here. It should be here. I get involved in too many freaking things. That's why it's not. ¿Dónde carajo está? My little matchstick little thing. That calls for a soda. I'll be right back. Well, if it doesn't turn out, then I'm just going to go on a different tack. Thing wants to hide from me, think it's not going to get used. Oh, you're going to get used. No, it's got to be. Unless, well, that would have been dumb of me to put it there. I didn't put it there. Good, because that would have been really dumb to put it in the stuff that I'm working on. It's always here. I have a little matchbox that keeps all the small drill bits in it. And it's, shit, I've always had it. Alright, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to clean some of this shit up. And we will find it. Or we'll have a clean workspace. It's not that messy, but especially not compared to the way most people have their workspaces. I know about lighting, but I know a few buildings have survived until today. Beautiful town to visit. Too many people are too polite or insecure, not for grateful. They don't say things everyone is thinking should be said. I agree with you to a degree. I think that there's a lot of people that nobody stands up to, and I pretty much say what I think all the time. But there's a reason, you know. I have different rules when it comes to hobby stuff because I really think that this is a way out for people to blow off steam. So I don't want to take that from them. Okay, so I'm not going to say the hobby is one of those things, but when somebody asks you, hey, does this, you know, do you like this or whatever, there's no reason they can't decode it, you know, but okay, I bet you're in here. I bet your happy ass is in here. All right, well, it's not. Well, we're going to keep looking. There it is. 20 lashes. I don't like to make up stuff, though. That's just being dishonest. Then you can't keep your lies straight. But then there's some people that can't say anything nice to save their life. Car show, you go to a car show, a car meet. What a bunch of dickheads, man. Like, you can't say something nice to somebody, it makes you less of a man. Like, come on, man. I mean, if the guy's an asshole, yeah, screw him, but. I was pulling out of the grocery store 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, and this guy and his girlfriend or whatever, they were in this Mustang, and I'm not a fan of domestic vehicles, and but it looked pretty cool. So I told her, hey, I'm not a fan of Mustangs, but I just want to let you know you got a pretty nice car there. Like, people have said it to my vehicle, makes you feel good. You don't have to kiss his ass. Maybe you don't have to say anything to him, but it was true. I didn't make it up. I like this vehicle. Still wouldn't want to drive it, but I prefaced it with, I don't normally like those. I mean, I'm not going to call you a retard for your technique, but I totally see just a way to improve. I don't know. Some people are retarded. That Starbucks incident. You having a good day? I said, no, I work with a handicap. Well, that's good. Handicapped people need jobs. You don't get it, Mr. Millennial. That's not what I meant. Go for it, Peyton. Welcome. Go for it, man. I'm going to start a channel like that. It'll be called like yours. It's going to be called Get You Some Painting. Okay, this is the only two small ones that are in here. So let me start with this one, and then we can expand it. The only tricky part of this is going into an area that's very close. There's not a whole lot of area to operate in. The same thing happened on the other one, but we pulled through. And lots of people are willing to die on hills. And I say let them. I think everybody to some certain degree is willing to die on a hill. Somebody says, oh, well, I don't know why you paint acrylics. You get a much better finish with enamels. I don't care if enamels are free. I'm not using them. The whole purpose of me airbrushing is to get away from those pungent smells. So you go right ahead and use them. I'm not going to. I've used them before, and I'm not going to use spray cans. I also don't need to convert you. I'm perfectly fine you buying enamels, Okay. Let's see if I can get away with this. I think I'm going to. This is really close to the height of that, so I'm going to pull this out just a little bit, and then let's tighten it back down, and that gives me a little bit more. Of course, it might end up pushing in on me, but I don't need to put a lot of pressure on this to get it to do what I want. I only get worked up when people want me to do something like, hey, you should do this. You need to do this. I'm like, it's my hobby. I'll do it however I want. Like this thing that happened on the miniatures page. These guys got all bent out of shape. We need to find more ways to get women in the hobby. We need to find more ways. I said, it's a hobby that doesn't really appeal to women, and I'm fine if they do. I played games with them, and they were fun. They were okay. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't go into Joann's Fabrics and and scream at the top of my lungs, and I get all irate because I'm the only straight male in there. You know? What is a straight guy doing in a fabric store? I don't know. I'm like the only one there. There's reasons things are generally the way that they are, because that's generally the case. Now, there's exceptions to everything, but these guys are making a big stink. We got to find a way to get more women. You shouldn't really exclude them from coming, but you just can't. There's just some demographics aren't interested in certain things. If you're allergic to old white dudes, overweight white dudes, you probably shouldn't play war games. Just saying. I mean, you're going to see a whole lot of that. Oh, hold on 1 second. Well, that took a little bit longer than expected. A lot of a confluence of different things. Like if you're talking about your channel analytics, I'm going to watch some of your vids with a critical eye and bluntly comment on how to improve. Okay, I'm just doing this to get by. I subscribe to a whole bunch of 2 or 3 channels, and it's all about how to do this, how to make thumbnails, how to be, like, the closest I've come to quitting doing my channel is because people push me to do more and more and more, and I'm like, I do this and I do this just to do something social. I don't care about the rest of the stuff. You know, the guys that make those great videos, they can't fucking paint a model with crayons, you know? You know, I do what I do, and I put out more than a lot of other people, so if you don't like it, go fly a kite up your ass sideways. Oh, you should run these games at shows. I'm not running a game at a show. I don't want random people playing in my games and touching my figures and being rushed to set everything up and tear it down and worry about my figures walk off. I'm like, I don't need that kind of stress in my hobby. Let somebody else do it. But I can't wait for somebody to do something stupid like that at some other game so I can, you know, drop figures or do something, you know, not accidentally. I accidentally screw my own stuff up. You know, I just mean, you know, just like being careless with somebody else's shit. All right, a little bit more. I want to go all the way through this. This guy was like, hey, you should write an article. I don't write articles. I have a YouTube channel. That's what I like to do. Like, you don't do any YouTube channeling or videos or anything like that. I don't ask you to do them. Leave me alone, retired person. And the only thing I don't like about my neighborhood is I get home for lunch. I live close enough that I come home for lunch. I come home for lunch and the entire neighborhood is full of people. Like, either people are like working from home or like retired and stuff. I'm like, I'll be really upset if I don't get to do that one day. I won't be gardening. All right, let's see how we did. Well, if I want to look at it, I can't do that. Let's see how we did. Let's pull this off of here. Oh. These models are older than I am. Hell, we don't even have to glue this thing in. Do you have a deck chair now? That's probably not a good sign. It pushed me all the way to the bottom. Oh, this is rather crappy. This doesn't sit where it's supposed to sit. See, that's even with the top of the turret, so... Okay, I was holding my mouth wrong. And it shows part of this underneath that it shouldn't show. Well, you know what? I'm not going to spend a shitload of work on it. It's good enough for me. I do want it to sit more flush against the turret than it is, so let's wiggle this thing back out. If we can. All right, it calls for a drink. I really don't. I was totally planning on gluing this thing in place. I don't need to go up and down. What could I use? Maybe this should work. Okay, I budged it some more. I think we might have it where we need it now. Yep. All right. I think I glued this morning. Maybe I didn't. I didn't have very much caffeine before I got this started. But I wanted to do little molds because that was gonna be something that I wanted to take a look at this evening. See how it turned out. But that's funny that they didn't give you enough. Oh, I just had a hole. That cracked. They didn't give you enough tracks to put spare tracks on the outside. Well, at least they gave you some. Unlike the Pegasus, they gave you none. Yeah, you don't want to turn into this one guy that I knew that I used to play DBA with him all the time. This guy was insufferable. And I don't miss playing with it. One of the few times I don't know, a couple hundred people that I played. The only person, there's only like 3 people that I don't ever want to play again. One of them just has a bad attitude. And the other one just fucking cheats, man. I got zero tolerance for that. I'm going to the show and call out cheaters. I don't play a game with dishonorable people, man. Okay. I normally take these little tabs off because I don't like it scratching the surface, but sometimes I forget that I've done that and tip it over and then the turret hits the ground. It's not a big deal, but it's just kind of disappointing, probably. Okay, that looks all right. Looks a lot better with a machine gun hole there. There's a little bit of the bottom of that turret showing through. It's just gonna have to be. It's just gonna have to be. I'm not spending hundreds of hours on that. This costs $5 fucking. So it will look like a champ for $5 freaking. Okay. We got the track on the outside of the turret, but that's percolating, so we can't do that yet. Now the rest of the gun barrel. Where is she? Here. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this stuff. I really talked about my producer about getting a handle on me. I'm methodical about a lot of things, but putting things away sometimes. Well, I'm methodical about where these go, and then just the other stuff's like, eh. Let's get a brush that's not beautiful. Oh no, none of those. Those are wonderful. So far they have been wonderful. This is good. Let's wet this a little bit. Let's get a paper towel here. Stuff dries actually pretty fast. It can dry all freaking night long for all I care. See, which way is this bridge running? It's running that way. I'll let that dry. Like, what do I have in my mouth? All right. Tow hooks. They're gonna go flying. Go flying before the rubber. I don't know. Maybe I like ordering things from Amazon because if they don't do their end of the bargain, which is not selling me junk, it goes back, and it's easy to return. Because some things you just don't know what you're gonna get. You might get something that's awesome, and you might want to get something that's just a piece of shit. Okay, so they go down here. We'll go ahead and put that on there. Use 6 and 7. See if they don't go flying. On the other one. We'll go ahead and remove this so. And I may remove. How thick is this? No, I'm not going to do that. I guess I'll just have to build another King Tiger to. I've never been a King Tiger fan. Some people are like, oh, I really like that tank. Tiger ones, I've never been a fan of Tigers. They showed up too late. And I'm not a fan of those special battalions that they were in. All right, let's see. I don't have a piece of tape, otherwise I would. I'll just be careful. What's the worst thing that can happen? Let's do this. We'll hold it down. The biggest problem with these is this is really old model. This is probably at least from the early 80s. So this plastic is more brittle than it normally would be. And there's a couple things that I already got broken. One of them was the machine gun, and one of them was the tow cable's also broken. So that's distracting. All right. This goes here, so it shouldn't be in the way of anything. I'm just going to pull this out, wiggle this guy out. Or leave it. It's really not in the way. It's back here. Oh, it only has the hole on one side. I hope the tweezers that I get are small enough. We'll see. If not, they go back. One of these two sides has the little thingy. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's pull it back where it needs to be. And remember, it's under pressure, so it needs to be dangling down. Unless it's driving really, really fast. There we go. It's going to be dangling. It's damn near straight down. All right, same thing on the other end. This is all stuff that I wouldn't have been able to handle as a 13-year-old. I'm just not in a hurry to play with it and go vroom vroom. There we go. Okay. Dangle that one down, dangle that one down. All right, in the front, the same thing is happening. Well, it's almost Friday, folks, but of course we got to make it through the hardest day of the week, Friday. It's only TGIF after, you leave work. And that's if you don't have to come in on Saturday, in which case just any other day then. Dangling down. Okay, make sure the back's all right. Perfect. Not that it's even that noticeable, but just the principle of it. Okay. What else we got? That's done, that's done. The tool thing. Yeah, they don't even show the other part of the vehicle. Yeah, they do. They don't show it. They don't show the other side of the turret at that point. Okay, so 46 goes on this side. I'm going to look at some reference pictures online and make sure you got it. I don't think there's any. 46 is this one. 46 is the broken one. I don't know if there's any location. There's two there. Yeah, I guess to kind of match up with that. Let's go ahead and take this one out. Unfortunately, this one's broken. I wonder if I can weld cement it in place and then break it and then take it out. Let me just try that. And then take it out after it's welded. I think I tried to do that with something a while ago and it didn't work for whatever reason. That's better than my other King Tigers that don't have a cable at all. Let's close this up. 45, they're saying, goes on this side. So we'll put this one on first. Let's remove this from here. So this weekend, no shows. Next weekend, also no shows because I'm going to be at a show. Signed up for some different kind of stuff to play. I really don't care what I play. Other than I'm not playing DBA. And I'm not bringing any figures. Don't have to mind them then. That cleaned up pretty good. Okay, and the longer cable goes on the bottom. And this is the inside. So this should be like this. Alright, now this should match up to those. And it kind of does. They're very subtle. And it matches up to that and that. Okay, yeah, there's no way a 13-year-old can handle doing this. A detail too far. So I was really impressed with one thing that I bought. That I thought it was a missed buy. You buy something, you hear great things about something, and then time goes by and you don't really use it. And then you wake up one day and you end up using it, and you're like, man, this stuff is great. And for that, I'm talking about this, the AK modeling putty. I think that stuff's amazing. Wherever the hell I put it. There were some things that I had to try to, I wanted to put like the turret on top of the other one, and it holds enough more than like blue tack. You know, it's totally removable, but behaved really, really well. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to hold this in place. Let's Let's make sure we got everything where it needs to be. And we're going to put a drop of glue on it. And then hold on to it. Try not to leave the fingerprints. What we're going to do is we're going to hold it over here. We're going to put the glue there. And then we'll tell a joke or two. It's like, sorry, I'm not on screen. Yeah, well. It's good there. Looks good for my house. And there's so many paint schemes for king tigers. So many. And about half of them are just ugly, in my opinion. I won't do those. All right, now the other side is the one that we, welded together and it popped off. Comrade Pop-Off. All right, well. Let's use this. Oh, it's broken here too. What a pizza chip. Okay. Okay, and then this one needs to, well, we clipped that one. Why didn't, oh, is it holding on by a little bit here? Yeah. Who knows how long it's been sitting in the box. Brittle, no doubt. There it is. That piece is huge. I still don't drop parts on the floor even close to as many times as Mitch rolls dice on the floor. That would just be absurd. So this cable is broken in 3 places. I would love to be able to cast more of these, So I could put them on these tigers that didn't have any at all, but that's a little too flimsy. There might be somebody out there that can do it, but I'm not the guy for that. All right, let's trim what we have left here. Shouldn't be an issue, it's in different pieces. Okay, so this goes underneath like this, and this goes over here. So it'll sit like this with this piece at the bottom. So with that said, this needs to be sitting up here. Like so. How are we doing over on this side? We good? Okay, good. That puts it awfully far towards the back. I don't know if I like that. Actually, I know I don't like that. That's where the things are. All right, well, that's where we'll put it. A lot of people don't like working with photo etch, and I think it's pretty durable compared to this. You don't have to worry about a piece that's too old that snaps in half. You know, if the environmental conditions are going to weaken photo etch, you've got more than acid rain. I just gotta wait a little bit. Everybody go to sleep yet? Doing clothes at the same time, and I remembered I needed to switch them over. And full 80% of that load was what I call hang-upables. Meaning they don't go in the dryer. takes a little bit of time. Well, we know that we're going to attach it here. And you know that we're going to attach it here. Plus the one in the middle where it actually sits on it. So let's just bring this up. All right, we got touching the two things. So we'll weld that on there. You know, if I did one video on modeling, it would be separate link track. Because I went from, I hate this stuff, to, okay, I got this shit. That's some empowering stuff. And then this one's going to attach here. I don't want to just paint a line and then hope to God I put it in the right place. Can't even tell it's broken. What do we do after that? There's your shovel that goes on one side. I think a guy on eBay is selling these old instructions. Like, dude, that's available on ScaleMates, man. Oh, the other side doesn't have anything. This one has the shovel and the crank. Well, I see it here in this picture. So let's pull that out and put it on there. But I had several of these models that I started like 25 years ago. And something would happen. I'd encounter some problem or something would break. I wouldn't know what to do. I just set them aside. And those are some of the first ones that I worked on when I got back into World War II gaming. And my favorite one is the Frankenpanzer IV. It's an Eschi model. And it's like a soup sandwich of different things. You go to start putting on track and like you'll like break the little pins that are melted on there. You don't know what to do. Well, I know what to do now. Staple that bitch. Okay, we're gonna go to the other side. And there's an attachment point there. the crank's also on the same side. Okay, where's the little piece where that attaches? I think it's going to be like inside the other one, right? Yep. Okay. Das ist gut. It really is a good looking vehicle. Although I really like the way a Panther looks. Always have. And then the hatches, I'm not making the driver hatches open. Not on this one. And they look a little under scale. Okay. And the only thing we have left, I mean, other than putting those spare spare tracks on the side of it. It's attaching the gun. Oh, we got the tracks to put on. Ooh, I hope I didn't lower that. Hope I didn't make those too low. Let's take a look. Come on, let's finish this so we can go to sleep. Oh yeah, we got enough space here. I actually like the way it looks without those things on there. Oh. Boy, I really can't see anything without my glasses on. That's these two. The barrel should be right here. Fell underneath. That actually looks pretty good. I might actually not put the side things on. I don't know. I don't have any preconceptions of how it's going to turn out. Okay, folks. Anyhow, that's where as far as we're going to go with the King Tiger tonight. We'll see you guys in the next one.